Welcome to another installment of Parent Perspective, a video series designed to assist and educate parents, family members, and guardians of future Arkansas Tech students, those students who will be joining us this fall. We know that you play a major role in their success, and we hope that this video series will help provide you with the information and tools you need to make this transition as easy as possible. Today, our focus is going to be on Residence Life, for those students who are going to live on campus with us. To help us along in this process, we've brought Ms. Laura Palmer, the Coordinator of Marketing Assignments for Residence Life. Good afternoon, Laura.
Good afternoon, Kevin.
Thank you for being with us and visiting with us today.
Thank you for having me.
So specifically today, we want to talk about the application process. As many parents and incoming students are applying now or getting ready to get all their stuff complete and make sure they have a space reserved for the fall. So if you could you please provide us an overview of the housing application process and what the steps are for our incoming students as they move forward?
Sure. It is very important that upon admission, right after students receive a letter of admission notifying them they've been accepted into Tech, to go to the housing portal and fill out the application. They will need to use their OneTech credentials, the username and password provided in the letter. Once they are in, they will need to select the application for the correct academic year and the term, and then fill out some personal details. Within that first part of the application, they will need to complete what is called a roommate profile, which is information they want to provide about their habits, such as cleanliness habits, sleep habits, what are their athletic interests, any other routines that might be important when choosing a roommate, or something that they might want other people to know about them when trying to look for a roommate. It's very important to fill out those things accurately to ensure that there's no conflict in the future. Then they will have the option to select a roommate, and there they have the option of looking by detail. So if they know who they want to be roommates with, they can enter their name or last name or a T number, which is a student ID number. Here, they can also look by profile. So if they know they want a room with somebody that is really clean, then they can look for somebody whose cleanliness profile is high. Or if they want a room with an athlete, they can select somebody who plays basketball or baseball or whatever their interest might be. They can also choose, if they don't know who they want to be roommates with, they can tell the system to suggest possible roommates. And in that feature, the system will then throw several options that will match at a certain percentage of their profile. And so, for example, if I tell the machine to suggest roommates, the machine will say, or the system will say, John Smith has 70% of profile match with you. Okay. This is, and you will see the percentages there, 80, 90, 40%, and you can make that choice yourself. If you don't know of anyone in that moment, you can come back later and you can pick. If you know somebody who hasn't applied for housing yet, you can go back and then add them. Now, it's very important when looking for a roommate, if you have somebody in mind, that this other person has also completed the application, because if they haven't, they won't be able to find them there. And when filling out your roommate profile, there is a little checkbox that says, include me in the roommate search. So you can hide yourself from other people to not find you, or you can give yourself the option to be found by others. Mm-hmm. So you just gotta pay attention to every step along the way. Okay. After that, you will need to pay a $25 application fee, and that will be the end of the first part of the application. Now, it's very important to apply as soon as you have been admitted, because when we assign time slots for room selection, they will be given based on the date when students completed their first part of the application. So the sooner you apply and submit your application, the greater the chance you will have at picking your top residence hall or room.
So a couple of things from that of importance. One is the housing portal. It's not the One Tech portal, but it's the same credentials. And you'll get that link to that in an email in your acceptance letter to go in there and get that started. So utilizing your university credentials that you use in your One Tech portal will also get you into the housing portal, and that's the first step for that. The second step is to be honest with that questionnaire that you have, to get be as honest and as detailed as you'd like to be. That'll help best match you with somebody that meets your interests and just be a better profile matching. And then the $25 fee. Now, who is required to live on campus?
All students between 18 and 21 years old with less than 60 credit hours earned and who live outside of a 30-mile radius of the university are required to live on campus.
So those that live inside the 30-mile radius are exempt, but they do need to fill out the exemption request.
Yes, all the students who think they qualify to live off campus must get in touch with us. We have a form called the exemption form, housing exemption form. They will need to fill out, and we'll provide unnecessary documentation showing that they are indeed living within a 30-mile radius of campus with a parent or a guardian. Yes.
And students can find the housing portal, and parents can find that portal on the atu.edu/residence life as well.
That's correct.
Residence Life, you can find that portal and log in from there. Sure. I noticed in the process there's a $100 prepayment. At what point is that due, and what is that for?
So I talked to you before about the housing application. It has two major parts. The first part is the initial application, when you pay your $25 and secure that spot for your room selection. Then the next part is the room selection process. And in that process, which we start for new students in March and returning students next week, in that process, you will log back into the housing portal and select a room. After students select a room, if they selected a room in a residence hall, they will have a $100 prepayment. And that $100 prepayment secures a spot on campus for them.
So that's in the second stage of the
Yes, it's in the
after they
second
make
stage.
that room selection.
Yes, and depending on if they select a residence hall, is the $100. If they select an apartment, it will be a $250 deposit.
And those are for the upper class students, so
Yes.
we'll get into that a little bit later. I know that there's a program called Room Pack that our students need to complete some information in. Can you explain what Room Pack is and how students gain access to that?
Yeah, Room Pact is a system we use to communicate with students. It facilitates communication between our resident assistants with their respective floor. We also use it to store roommate agreements and to log any conversations or encounters that we have with the students or any requests that the students may have made. Right now, we are also using it for when the students want to request room changes. It helps us keep track of students' requests. Yeah.
So as we're talking to parents of incoming students, what are the options for incoming students next year? What buildings are available for them?
Incoming students will be housed in M Street, all freshmen. That's our goal. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are there any other options, or is M Street the main place?
Yeah, M Street will be the main one. We also have Wilson. Wilson Hall will be the one building where freshmen are able to live throughout the winter break with no extra cost.
Okay.
Yes.
So in M Street, we will have both double and triple spaces for students, so a student can have one roommate or two roommates in M Street as well?
Yes, that's correct. Doubles and triples. M Street will also be the home to all the living learning communities.
Sure. Mm-hmm. The living learning communities provide that connected opportunity for them to live together under a certain focus, whether it be leadership or hospitality. Some of the different majors have those programs there. So at this point, it's just filling out the application, paying the $25 fee, and getting in the system, getting a spot in line, if you will, and then getting your profile built. And then the second step a few months or a month or so down the road will be the room selection and final matching of roommates. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So up until you choose a room, you have the ability to switch your roommate, and if different things happen, or change roommates, and or search for another roommate until you complete your spot. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes, they will have a chance to, and if they cannot find a roommate until they move in, there is always a chance that somebody else will come and want a room with them at any point during the semester. Any student might request to live in that room, so at any point they might be assigned a roommate.
So if an incoming freshman has their 2 roommates already selected, there's 3 of them, they're all coming from the same school, they all want to live together or whatever, they can just search each other and match each other up and not even publicize their profile because they already know all 3 of them want to live together. Students coming in who do not have or aren't coming along with somebody else or do not know who their roommate is. You mentioned earlier that they can search and get matched, and if they make their profile public, people will find them and discover them as well. So when it comes to room selection time, if they make a selection with no roommates, those spots will eventually be filled, correct?
That's correct.
Because others will be searching for matches.
That's correct. That's correct. And there might be students who come right before classes start or right before moving day that may not care who they room with and just go ahead and pick any room because that's what is available, And so if by any reason students are unhappy with their selection with the roommate, they always have the chance during the first 2 weeks of classes to request a change of room, and it will be free of charge.
But if they complete their the roommate profile honestly and correctly, that should very much help. Should help in the matching process. So you mentioned that this first step is now, and students need to go ahead and get on there and get that portal, and get that $25 paid, and get that reservation done. When are they able to start making room selections? When does that process start?
For incoming students, it will be in March. The first week of March is when we will start that process, and they all will receive an email. And the other thing that we suggest or ask them to please do is to check their email continually. They need to be looking at their OneTech email and their personal email, because they will hear from us when the process starts, and we will tell them, hey John, you can now log in the housing portal and select your room. Mm-hmm.
And that again is based on when they started,
Yes.
they started the process. Mm-hmm. So the earlier that you start, the earlier time you have. But if you miss your time, then it opens up to more and more people, which in
Yes.
theory takes away some more of your opportunities.
That's correct.
So you do want to get that done early and be paying attention to the portal. Between now and the fall, or between now and room selection, does your office provide any opportunities for students if they come to campus for a visit to see what some of the rooms are like in M Street or any of the other residence halls?
Yes, we have student workers that help us and provide student tours of the different showrooms that we have on campus. So if anybody wants to come at any point in time and say we want to take a look at M Street, we will take them and show them the showroom that we have in M Street or not, or Wilson. Mm-hmm.
And then if students can't make it to campus, you also have the 360 videos where you can kind of get in and really kind of see what it's like there.
Yes, we are working on publishing those online, so students will be able to see most of our residence halls from every angle. And I believe that will be a really helpful tool for students when selecting a room. Mm-hmm.
I know that some of the parents that I've spoke to already have had questions about the cost for the residence hall and the meal plan cost, and those are things that aren't yet determined yet. But when are those rates set for both meal plans and for living on campus?
Housing rates and meal rates are usually approved at the end of May, beginning of June. Right now we have the academic year 2018-2019 online for students to get an idea of what the base cost would be. But at the end of May, beginning of June, they should expect to see the final rates for the new academic year. Mm-hmm.
Now, during this process, if anybody has any questions or concerns or they're a little bit confused, where might we direct them, and what's the best way for them to find solutions?
They can always give us a call just call us at 479-968-0376, and we will try to help them as much as we can. There is also in our website a page called Frequently Asked Questions. If they want to browse to it and see, they might be able to find answers to any questions they might have as well. Mm-hmm.
Well, this is an exciting time, getting to select your room and getting that ready for the fall. So parents, we encourage you to talk with your students and make sure you all are on the same page and you're paying attention to emails and timelines to go ahead and get in there and get that stuff done so you are able to secure your room. So Laura, we thank you for spending some time with us today, and parents, we will visit with you again soon. Thank you.